President Trump posting on his Truth social media platform just moments ago, the U.S. has completed a, quote, very successful attack on 3 nuclear sites inside Iran.
A short time ago, the U.S. military carried out massive precision strikes on the 3 key nuclear facilities in the Iranian regime: Fordow, Natanz, and Esfahan.
Started with a silence too heavy for the night. No sirens, no radar pings, just a strange humming tension, and then flashes.
Tonight I can report to the world that the strikes were a spectacular military success. Iran's key nuclear enrichment facilities have been completely and totally obliterated.
Blinding streaks of light split the sky. People thought it was lightning. It wasn't. It was the beginning of a nightmare. In seconds, Tel Aviv was on fire. Haifa trembled. Jerusalem's heart skipped a beat. The unimaginable had happened. Israel's shield had shattered. The signs were there, in radar interference patterns, in strange military movements. A low-level Israeli analyst had flagged the anomalies, but his emails were ignored. Iran had been quiet, but not still. From beneath the mountains and deep within desert soil, underground missile silos prepared silently. They weren't rehearsing. They were waiting. She blamed herself. Still did. A quiet technician, brilliant with systems, broken by memory. But it was that night, the night the sky burned, that gave her a second chance, a chance to stop something even worse. The first wave wasn't missiles. It was a deception. Dozens of drones, some real, some fake, all designed to distract Israel's defense systems and drain their interceptors. Iron Dome sprang to life. Sirens wailed. But the real attack hadn't started yet. That came 3 minutes later. 27 ballistic missiles, launched simultaneously from camouflaged Iranian bases, each targeting a critical site: communications, energy grids, military HQs. They were hypersonic, stealth-guided, terminal phase maneuvering. And worst of all, they came from directions no one expected. Not all were intercepted. In fact, most weren't. The airport exploded first, then the Haifa logistics depot. Jerusalem's military satellite center went dark. Hospitals lost power. People screamed in shelters, some of which never received a warning. Missiles struck without mercy, and over 60% of them hit their mark. Israeli fighter jets scrambled to respond, but were too late. Command systems flickered. Interception codes failed. Reut manually rerouted the radar logic, breaking protocol to save the system, but the delay had cost lives. The radar blind spot had let in death. Hundreds of miles away, in a concrete bunker buried beneath the Zagros Mountains, Colonel Mahdi Reza watched it all unfold, not with joy, but with cold, silent vindication. His brother had died in an Israeli drone strike 5 years ago. Tonight, Mahdi delivered his reply, in flames. Arrow 3, overwhelmed. David's sling, paralyzed. Iron Dome, exhausted. THAAD intercepted only a few. The idea of Israeli air superiority had died in one coordinated strike, and the world saw it. The morning after, satellite photos showed craters the size of buildings, smoke still rising from energy plants and radar towers. Entire blocks had vanished. And yet, Israel hadn't declared full war. Not yet. Because they didn't know who was truly responsible. Some analysts whispered of betrayal, a mole, a sabotage of radar codes. Iranian missiles couldn't have been this precise, unless someone fed them the data. But who? An insider? An ally? Artificial error? The real war was now inside computers and command rooms. This wasn't just an act of war. It was a demonstration, a performance for the world to see. That Iran, long underestimated, had built something terrifying. Not just missiles, but a system. One that could think, coordinate, deceive, and destroy. Reut sat on the hospital bed. She had saved hundreds, But not all. A shelter collapsed before radar reactivated. She couldn't forget the child's voice calling for their mother. She would hear it every night now. In Tehran, Mahdi received medals, but he didn't smile. He stood before his brother's grave and said nothing. This wasn't justice. This was war. And war doesn't heal. World leaders called emergency meetings. The U.S. threatened retaliation. Russia blamed Western arrogance. China called for strategic caution. But everyone knew the truth. Something fundamental had changed. Missile power wasn't symbolic anymore. It was real, immediate, personal. We used to think the sky would protect us. That radar, algorithms, and iron domes would keep death at a distance. But now we know. That death flies faster than we can calculate. That safety is an illusion. And sometimes the sky is the enemy. This isn't a glorification of missiles. It's a warning, a realization, that no matter how advanced your systems are, they mean nothing. If your enemy knows the sky better than you do,